Today on Comparison, we'll take a look at the executive and legislative branches of Mexico and Nigeria. First up, we'll examine the Mexican executive branch. Just like its neighbor to the north, Mexico follows a presidential model of government in which the top executive fulfills the roles of head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of Mexico's armed forces. Mexico's president can only serve one 6-year term. Re-election is not an option. The Mexican cabinet is appointed by the president with select positions subject to Senate approval. The current president of Mexico is PAN member Felipe Calderón, elected on July 2, 2006 with 39.5% of the vote. With his term coming to a close, the next Mexican election will be held on July 1, 2012. Mexico's presidential elections follow a first-past-the-post format, meaning that the candidate with the plurality vote wins the election. Now we head to Africa to examine the Nigerian executive. Nigeria's executive framework is nearly identical to Mexico's, with the president serving as the head of state, government, and the armed forces. The president is also elected through popular elections, but instead of one 6-year term, the Nigerian president could serve up to 2 4-year terms, subject to re-election. The Nigerian cabinet, called the Federal Election Council, is completely appointed by the president. Nigeria's president, Goodluck Jonathan, hails from Nigeria's party PDP. Elected with 58.9% of the vote in 2011, Jonathan claimed a majority victory in a first-past-the-post system. Now we'll return to Mexico to analyze the two nations' legislatures. Just like its presidency, Mexico has taken cues from the United States when it comes to their legislative branch. The Mexican Congress is bicameral, comprised of a lower house and an upper house. The Senate, like its American counterpart, is the upper house of the legislature. The Senate consists of 128 members who can only serve one 4-year term at a time. They cannot serve 2 terms consecutively. 96 of the members are elected directly through the popular vote, but the remaining 32 are elected through proportional representation. The Mexican counterpart to the United States House of Representatives is the Chamber of Deputies. The chamber is composed of 500 members, 300 of which are directly elected and 200 through proportional representation. Like the Senate, the deputies cannot serve more than one consecutive term, meaning that both chambers are completely different every election. Now we'll return to Nigeria once more to examine their legislature. Nigeria's legislative branch is also based on that of the United States, sharing more similarities with its American counterpart than the Mexican Congress. Nigeria's Congress is bicameral. It has a Senate and a House of Representatives. The Nigerian Senate holds 109 seats, 3 seats for the nation's 36 states and 1 for its capital, Abuja. The senators serve 4-year terms, all eligible for re-election. Nigeria's House of Representatives contains 360 members from single-seat constituencies. The members are directly elected and serve 4-year terms. Both governments, as presidential systems, use the United States model for the legislature, comprised of an upper house and a lower house. Mexico and Nigeria both diverge from this model, though, in the elected officials' term limits. Mexico's president can only serve one 6-year term. Nigeria can serve 2 4-year terms. Mexico's congressmen can only serve 1 term at a time, 4 years for senators, 3 years for deputies. Nigeria's legislative term is 4 years for both houses with no restrictions on term served. In short, a presidential model of government consists of a separation of powers across 3 branches of government: executive, judicial, and legislative. Typically, the singular head of the executive branch must work with the leaders in the legislative branch to get laws passed and positions appointed. In this type of government, impasses can also be reached. Because the president often has veto powers in a presidential model, the legislative body must make sure that the bill pleases the president. If the 2 branches reach an impasse on a bill, political gridlock is often a result. Barely any bills get passed. Likewise, when the presidential appointment to the cabinet requires Senate approval, gridlock can be reached when the Senate disagrees on the president's choice. For comparison, this is Gabrielle Zamfir, signing off.